Oh my God. How you doing today, Adam? What's going on?
I am great. How are you doing, Sitch? I'm full of energy.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh. Today it's going to be fun. We have the classic reacting to the reaction. Oh my, it's
Oh
everyone's
yeah.
favorite.
Oh, the reacting to the reacting of the reaction of the reactor.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now, we here at the Sitch and Adam show, okay, or some people wrongfully say the Adam and Sitch show. We here love to watch Briahna, Joy Gray, and Robbie fight each other a lot. But apparently, the
Yes.
majority report they also like to watch them fight and call Robbie, our good friend Robbie, a fascist.
A racist alt-right pipeline loving piece of garbage, right?
Can you believe that? Calling a good boy like Robbie a fascist. This is what the name of the video. Free speech libertarian goes full fascist over student protests. I'm very interested to see what exactly Robbie said that's going to be very fascist. Okay, I'm a little skeptical. I'm a little skeptical, but listen, I'm going to be good faith Gary. I'm going to leave an open mind here to see where the fascism creeps in.
So the accusation is hypocrisy here, I guess. They're saying Robbie's big hypocrite, right?
Yes. Yes. A big
Meanies.
hypocrite and a fascist.
Well,
Let's
yeah,
jump
but
into it.
they're saying he's a libertarian, so he's supposed to be anti-fascist, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. No, I think they're saying he's a hypocrite because libertarians are in favor of free speech unless it's against something they don't like. Then suddenly they become full fascists. That's what they're saying.
Hard for me to imagine.
Right. Let's see.
Robbie Soav and Bree, who we've had a disagreement about, but we're very much aligned on this Palestine issue.
That's been the nice thing about some of this is even though I've definitely had disagreements with Bree in the past.
And I'm sure it's probably somewhat mutual, but still,
sure.
that's not important, frankly.
Right, we're all
in
a
our
lot
jobs.
a lot of people are uniting on this one issue, and this is like exactly how it should be.
And I've not been surprised that Bree's good on this, but I have been shocked at how bad Robbie is. And so this what he starts off here saying here, and I don't know if we have the clip in sound polls, but what I will say is Robbie says that students formed a human chain to stop Jewish students from coming on campus. The direct quote, and you even need to pull it over if you can find it, but like the direct thing they said is Zionists. Like we need a human chain for Zionists because they are trying to infiltrate and probably maybe stage something like, ooh, Palestinian stabbing me in the eye with the mat.
They're like that. It's like, listen, Robbie comes in, he says, there was a chain to stop students, Jewish students. And then we have the voice. I think it's Matt is his name. The off-screen voice is like, listen, it's not a big deal because it wasn't Jewish students. It was just the Zionist students. Those are the ones that we were keeping out of the space that they pay for to go to college. So it's okay. It's totally acceptable.
Yeah, there has to be a lot of overlap between Jewish people and people who think Israel has a right to exist. I mean, right?
Yes, yes. This is like a weird psychological thing. The word Zionist sounds scary, doesn't it? Something about like Zionist.
Oh yeah. It does.
And all it means is like someone who thinks Israel like should exist.
Right.
That's all it means. And it's
I
like,
mean, I'm basically a Zionist, right?
of course you are, yeah. Most people listening probably believe that even if they disagree with Israel's current military action, they still think Israel should exist as a country. Most
Right.
people in America overwhelmingly believe Israel should exist as a country. That's part of why these protests are getting such a bad publicity, which these dumb kids don't understand, that they've all moved from ceasefire and peace to Israel shouldn't exist is essentially like their general point.
Right.
And
Oof.
like it's just so silly that like that we have like right here, you're not allowed to believe that Israel should exist as a country, as a student, and exist on campus without being hassled by protesters essentially.
Yeah.
Ask, or I'm going to deploy some fart spray that is going to be so overwhelming that people have to go to the hospital for it. So it is valid to not want Zionists at a protesting a Zionist genocide.
Yes.
So that's
There you go. Listen, it's valid on campus for students who believe in a cause to just declare a general space of the campus theirs, and if you disagree with their cause, you're not allowed to enter, and that's totally acceptable. That's totally fine.
Well, these are
majority
Zionists,
report.
Sitch. So
Okay.
obviously.
It's just so like, and it's so hilarious because they're gonna scream and whine. Oh my God, what happened to free speech? What happened to free speech? You literally have a movement that they're signing off on that says only our speech is allowed in this space. Okay, no other student who disagrees with us is allowed in this space. Now the school said that we can't do this, but fuck the school. We have the moral authority to do whatever we want.
Oh, do you now?
Yes, because I don't know if you know this, Adam, but I am on the right side of history.
So, hey, so am I. I'm always on the right side of history.
That can't be true because we have disagreements. So how can you be on the right side of history and I be on the right side of history at the same time?
It's just a fact of life, Sitch. Occasionally you get it wrong, obviously,
Wow. Wow.
id pool, identity politics, right side of history, right over here in the A team camp. S class, wrong side.
Spoken like a true majority report.
Forgiveness,
individual.
right side of history. Once again, look at this. A team has a perfect record. I'm batting 1,000. I'm batting 10,000. I'm batting 100,000. I don't even know what that means, but I hear people say it when they talk about sports, so it's got to be true.
That's true.
That's when you'll see right off the bat here Robbie lying in a way that he did again. Robbie and Bria, John Ben Menachem, the Columbia PhD student, who and Robbie he didn't say the thing that they said it was anti-Jewish, but he still repeated this, and I think it's indicative of the whole libertarian free speech sort of way that they're folding to Zionism in this a completely urgent moment about free speech.
Good sir. You have gone too far when you call Robbie a liar. How dare you? How dare you?
I know. Terrible.
We stand Robbie here on this channel. How dare you, good sir, call him a liar?
Well, and it's funny, too, because like Robbie's position wasn't even, and he says it in the clip, he wasn't even in favor of like the police coming. He was just saying, just fail them for not going to class. Which, I mean, they're not going to class. I don't know what you want to happen. But
Robbie, king of rolling his eyes at Briahna Greyjoy.
What a fascist.
Among all of the groups who are not financially implicated.
Now you hear that perfect audio, Sitch? That crystal clear, perfect audio for someone that they like.
Oh.
What's going on here, Sitch?
No Tim Pool audio? Is that what you're saying?
No terrible audio? We can hear everything.
Holding a phone up to like a computer microphone.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know what you're doing over there. Majority report. We know what's going on.
By these kinds of kind of corporatized arrangements.
And they're forming human chains to prevent Jewish students from moving among their midst. They absolutely did that.
Robbie.
Well, first of all, Jewish students are being overrepresented in these protests.
Yep.
The young Jewish left are
some Jewish students, the Zionists.
Yes. Yeah. Whenever these people would accuse someone on the right of being racist, and then if the person on the right that they accused was being racist was like black or a minority, they'd be like, "Oh, that's the black face of white supremacy. That's someone who's selling out their blackness, right? So that they could buy the property of whiteness, and participate in the system, blah, 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 blah. Right. But now suddenly it's like, well, wait. I mean, there's Jews that are anti-Israel. So therefore, that makes it okay to say that an entire country shouldn't exist anymore.
Is this a Zionist face of Judaism or the Jewish face of Zionism? I'm not sure, Sitchy. Which one is it?
It's a good question. So I think it's so funny. They're like, oh, the Jews are the Jews are also overrepresented in the people that are complaining at college that they don't feel safe. There was some letter at Columbia that was signed off by over 4,000 Jewish people who were a combination of students and faculty, and I think parents, about not feeling safe on campus. I assume they're overrepresented in that camp too, Emma. I'm not sure.
That's so sad. It is true, right?
It's true. Well, I mean, it's okay. Listen, this is just systemic anti-Semitism, okay? As we've discovered yesterday.
They should just set up like a big arch.
Mhm.
And, you know, actually, you need two arches. So you need one arch that says Zionist. So, you know, you walk under that arch if you are, in fact, a Zionist. And then they have one arch that says, you know, not a Zionist.
Mhm.
And then they could tell, right?
Right.
They could
Right.
identify
So if you walk under
these
the
people.
Zionist arch, you know, they throw eggs at you. And if you walk under the non-Zionist arch, you know, you get hugs.
Yeah. Yeah. You get hugs and kisses.
Yeah. There you go.
Because this is being done in the name of Judaism, or they're exploiting Judaism to commit a genocide, young Jewish students on college campuses are I don't know, we don't have the statistics right now,
Absolutely overrepresented.
but they are absolutely overrepresented.
I mean, we don't have the numbers, but
Is
I
this for
feel
real?
it. I
Is
feel
this
it,
for
Adam.
real?
I reached my hand deep up my butt, okay, deep inside my colon until I reached my gut. And I said, I can feel around in there that there's just a lot of Jewish students that just despise Israel. All right.
We don't have the numbers, but absolutely overrepresented. Sitch, this is comedy gold. We don't even have to say anything, man. This is 1000% comedy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Sitch, oh man, if I said that, Sitch would be all over me. We don't have the numbers, but it's definitely true. Thankfully, we have a live fact checker on this audience, on this show.
Yes.
Yes.
Presented in the arrests made on these college campuses. So the idea that this is to keep Jewish students out of these protests, when Jewish students are leading this, Jewish Voice for Peace, and they're a part of the other solidarity organizations on campus, is a smear and a lie.
Yep.
Students from moving among their midst.
That's not true.
Like,
They-
you know, they don't talk about, you know, they're going to leave out all the people that were literally saying, you know, to bomb Tel Aviv, and we're shouting pro Hamas and shouting that the region should be only for Arabs. They're going to like leave all that stuff out. It was all just
of
nice
course.
and good commentary.
Yeah, cut that out. Sitch, why would you want that? People might know the truth.
They absolutely did that.
Robbie, at NYU, I'm describing a specific incident in which university
I'm describing a
professors
specific incident.
university professors came out and created a circle around students in prayer, a Passover prayer, as they were being attacked by the NYPD, handcuffed and arrested. That's what happened in the United States of America. And I thought that we cared about free speech.
It's okay for students to take over a region of campus against the wishes of the people in charge of the university because they did a circle around a handful of Jewish students and they did a Passover prayer. Okay. They were praying to God, saying, God, Jewish God specifically, please, Jewish God, give us your blessing so that we may occupy this space for 7 days. 7 days, let us occupy this space despite the fact that people just want to do their fucking finals. And the president is like, listen, can you stop being fucking assholes on campus? Please, God, protect us.
I love that you've captured her cadence perfectly. Robbie, do you understand what's going on here?
I know, it's like
It's very serious.
The dripping with melodrama voice. They were doing a prayer for Jews, Robbie. They can't be anti-Semitic as they wish that the state of Israel is destroyed.
Exactly.
Speech sitting here on this program. I thought we cared about your rights to protest and articulate your values.
I care about
And college
both.
students are being called now for the National Guard to be sent in.
Don't
Do you
let
know
them talk.
who was killed at Kent State by the National Guard? 3 of the 4 of those students were Jewish students. So who here is really standing up for and protecting?
Did you know, Adam, that Kent State, okay? Do you remember that? Do you remember Kent State
Oh yeah.
in 1970?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that incident? I know you
like
were
it was
alive
yesterday.
and at least 20 years old in 1970.
Oh my God. Don't kill me here. Jeez. There's a murder happening on this live stream.
Did you know that over 50 years ago, in a completely different student protest, a completely different time period, about a completely different issue, that the National Guard killed 4 people and 3 of them were Jewish, and somehow that means something right now in the year 2024.
I can't even get these students expelled. What do you mean they're going to? I think we're a long way off from killing them. Okay. The most they're getting is a slap on the wrist.
The rights and interests of Jewish students as you call for them to be rounded up by the police.
I'm not calling for them to be rounded up by the police.
Well,
I don't think the police should be involved.
That you criticize this behavior because the administration of NYU, the administration of NYU called those police.
You like how it's like, I don't support this. Well, then I'm going to move on to a different talking point without even addressing it in the same breath. Okay, Robbie, God, get out of here, Robbie.
I
fascist
love it, yeah.
Who doesn't support the National Guard coming into college campuses?
Rounding people up. When did I say that? It's just like, Robbie, you want them rounded up and thrown in jail.
All those police in. Yeah. And the professors wrote that statement to say this was not a violent protest. This was not an anti-Semitic protest. This was students protesting actual violence.
I don't know
that
it's not violent or not anti-Semitic, but I don't think the police should be called in to deal with it. I think this is an academic matter. If students don't show up to their classes or to their exams,
it was at
then it
night.
can be dealt with that way.
What are you talking about?
Well, they're planning that. I mean,
God, what a fascist. He doesn't believe that the police or the state guard should come in and do anything, and that they should just get bad grades for not going to class, just like Hitler would have done to the Jews if he had the opportunity to do so.
Bad grades?
Yes! Okay. That's really what Hitler wanted to unleash upon the Jews. He wanted to flunk them all out of school, like a real fascist.
Let the bad grades begin. This is a second Holocaust. The Holocaust of bad grades.
Again. When the Jews said never again, they were obviously referring to all the F's that was given to them by the Nazis and all their college education after they studied so hard for their finals.
Is this why Jewish students always get such perfect grades?
Exactly.
Columbia, they're planning to occupy the campus until the right to return is regranted to Palestinians displaced from Gaza?
The students are not the ones that called for remote work.
Can you pause it for a sec?
Doing that, and some people.
No, she's right about this, but I just want to clarify too. Like the claim, the demands from the students are incredibly clear for Israel, for their universities rather, to divest from Israel, just like the demonstrations against South African apartheid. Yep. That is the claim, and they say we won't remove these encampments until the divestment happens. That is the demand. They have been unambiguous about it.
Demanding the university drop its direct investments in companies doing business in or with Israel, which are part of 1.2, including Amazon and Google, which are part of $1.2 billion cloud computing contract with Israel's government, which also, by the way, is a problem with.
Wait. Did he just say like Google, or did he say that the Colombian protesters were demanding that the university have no business dealings with Amazon and Google?
Sitch, they are allowed to discriminate against other Jewish students until they get their demands. Okay.
I just well, first of all, yes, obviously, I don't thank you. That's very true. But they're like, listen, the protesters have been very specific and rational and reasonable. They're just like, this college should no longer be able to have any affiliation with Google or Amazon, two of the biggest companies in the entire world.
No more Googling for final exams.
There you go. You know what? I'm tired of kids on campus getting Amazon packages delivered to them on campus by the apartheid supporting company. No Amazon packages allowed.
You know they're getting that, right?
Meanwhile, you go to the encampment, they're trying to get Amazon people to deliver things to the actual tents.
Probably.
With Google employees, I believe, who were surprised to learn some of that because I don't think it was entirely upfront. Microsoft, whose services are used by Israel's Ministry of Defense and the Israeli Civil Administration, and defense contractors profiting from war, such as Lockheed Martin, which on today reported its earnings were up 14,000%, not 14,000%. But also, First of all, like this idea, like I'm not saying they should be rounded up. I'm just saying they might be doing violence against Jewish kids on campus. Like that's not that. Sorry, Robbie, you are helping the effort to get these people beaten by cops.
No. You know what the reality is, and what it's so like.
Listen, Robbie, I'm sorry, Robbie, because you're saying things that are true. That people could be saying things that are anti-Semitic, that people could be doing violence, that people could be preventing other students from using the faculties that they pay for. Just because you're saying things that are true, even though you directly said you didn't want the police involved, it's your fault that the police are going to be involved and beat up protesters and students. It is your fault, even though you said the exact opposite of the thing. Okay, God.
Of course. Look, I don't know if you've noticed this, but what is the gender and race of Robbie?
Robbie is a fascist, libertarian Republican. That is his race and gender, Adam. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. He's a fucking white male. That's what he is. Where's that clip? I need a soundboard again.
You're a white male.
So like what is so gratifying and how they'll lose in the end as they thrash about to smear these protesters is they're just genuinely frustrated that the kids learned how to be incredibly militant and effective in their demonstrations, clear in their demands. I saw that I mentioned this earlier, but that a reporter was outraged that the organized demonstrations have a spokesperson and that they just can't go when they go up to random students. They refer them to the spokesperson, which is, by the way, a direct reaction to Occupy when people were singled out to represent the entire movement, and it was a way for the media to call them crazy, and they'd take the most inflammatory things said by the demonstrators and make Occupy smear the Occupy movement, basically. And they learned from the George Floyd protests as well to link arms.
I hope they didn't. I hope they didn't learn from the BLM protest. I don't know if that's the kind of behavior they
Well, she's talking about them learning to have a spokesperson, so
okay.
They don't have every single idiot talking to the media.
Right. Only the trained idiot who will say all the nice things that won't get them in trouble, right?
Right, yeah. Who dodges all the Marxist questions.
Yes. Who's like, listen, we're not saying that Israel should be wiped off the face of the earth. We're just saying that Zionism is evil, and that, if I get in a fight with a Zionist, I don't know if I'll be able to stop myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Said actual leader of the Colombian student protest movement.
They got to make sure every single spokesperson has enough lip gloss to talk to the media.
That, you know what? That's the real thing. Okay, they got to make sure they have the proper makeup on. I agree.
Arms together and to be unified. Yeah. So they're just pissed that the kids are so good at this. I mean, and that is what's so amazing.
Do you see what happened here?
What?
They finally let Matt go on camera.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw it and I'm like, is he on camera because he's like sensitive? Because good friend, actual Justice Warrior Sean always makes fun of him for being the voice off camera.
Well, we make fun of him constantly too. It's got to be sinking in.
I guess he's like, because this is the first time I think I've ever seen him like pop on. I don't know.
I agree.
And it's funny because it's like, they have it's obviously like someone's phone or something, like a laptop camera. He's got like the horrible lighting, like, washed out color thing going on. Like he's got a recycling bin behind it. Like, what's going on?
Right, yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, listen, I'm not one to talk about not being.
Yeah, I was going to say, bitch, turn your camera on.
What do you mean? I'm right there in the bottom left of the screen in the void of AI art. What are you talking about? That's me right there.
One day I'm going to successfully pressure Sitch into turning his camera on.
That's true. He will. He'll do it eventually.
Amazing about it. Yeah. They're just, and you would.
Oh, I forgot why I paused it because we got distracted by Matt carrying a camera. The reason I paused was she would say like, guys, they're just mad because the protesters are so good and effective at this protest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? How did the bubble? You understand that everyone, even on MSNBC, okay, there was a segment, I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, where on Morning Joe, he was talking about how insane these protests were, and he was like, where are the adults? Where are the adults? The adults need to take charge of these colleges again. No, like they're so in the bubble. They have no clue that these protests are making everyone on their side look ridiculous, look retarded. So keep doing them. Keep doing them. Please keep doing them.
Yeah, it's great. No one wants to stop this, right?
No.
When your enemy is making a mistake, please do not interrupt.
Yes, exactly.
You would never hear the press can't complain that when they reach out to a senator for comment, that their spokesperson responds, or the police for a comment when a police spokesperson responds. They would never complain, but because it's kids that are doing things that are anti-Zionist and their tactics are well thought out, they're just like agitated and grinding their teeth.
Yeah, and just the condescension as he, again, starts it off with a lie saying they won't let Jewish students in. As we know, Jewish students are overrepresented, and it was Zionists that they were against you. But the condescension of, like, what are they going to do, protest until the right of return is granted? Sorry, can we just remind people what the right of return is? The right of return is that the refugees who were displaced by the Nakba get to go back to where they were displaced from. The idea that that is far-fetched, even though it's, like, enshrined in international law, is Zionist propaganda, and it is actually naturalizing a whole bunch more violence than is being spoken of by protesters.
Sitch, when were these people displaced, these refugees? When did that happen? Was that like a month ago or something?
To set up hat here, okay, upward hat here for some kind of dunk at him, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, no, I'm just curious. Look, you've read up on the history. What are we talking about here? How long ago were these refugees displaced?
No, don't laugh. This isn't funny. This is very serious. This is a very serious issue. Okay. We have Matt Hatt here as a good point. All right. And that point is this. I agree with him completely. I think all these kids and all these teachers at Columbia University and Princeton and Yale and Berkeley and all these other colleges, I think that they should all camp in those tents on the front lawns of all these colleges until every single person who had to leave their home 70 years ago can come back to the home that they left in 1948. Okay? And that's not a ridiculous act. That's a perfectly reasonable, logical, rational, moral thing. And if you're against this, if you don't think that people from 70 years ago should be able to go back to their homes, if you don't think that people who aren't even alive in 1948 shouldn't be able to go back to their homes and evict people who bought a home 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, said, get out of this home because this was mine 70 years ago. If you don't think that's rational, if you don't think that's reasonable, you're promoting violence, Adam.
Well, the person would have to be, look, you could be 1 year old when you were evicted from your home. You're going to be 70 now, and you're going to go back to that home? I mean, a lot of the people have to be, not really around anymore, right?
That is international law. International law.
Look, if you're 30 and you're evicted from your home, right? Add 70 years, you're 100 years old right now.
Yes. There's a lot of 100-year-old Palestinians. You don't know.
It's hard for you to imagine those people are still alive.
They have really good medicine and life expectancy rates in the West Bank and Gaza. Okay.
How many? Look, I'm just trying to get
lots of
realistic
walking around.
How many people are in this situation? I'm trying to get a realistic number here. Okay. How many people are in this situation that they were evicted from their homes 70 years ago and they want to return? How many people?
Listen, I don't know the answers because I haven't looked at any of the data.
It's probably like 10 people.
But
it's literally probably like 10 people.
I feel in my heart and soul that it's probably a lot. Okay. I don't know. I have any evidence.
We don't have any numbers, but it's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's gotta be a lot. Get out of here, punk. You don't know this. No, I'm not buying that. I want to know the numbers.
This is international law, Adam.
Yeah, look, does refugee status pass down to your kids? Look, you got kicked out of your home.
Yes.
You move on to a different country, a different area, whatever, right?
Mhm.
You have kids.
Yeah.
Do you get to tell those kids, son, we're still refugees?
Son, one day when you have kids,
They
your
will be
grandkids
refugees.
will rightfully be able to get the land back that I once had, because I'll be dead and you'll probably be dead too. Okay.
I mean, this is like the mother of all grudges, right?
It is. It
Right.
is.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Listen, there's nothing, this is completely reasonable. I think all these kids should live in those tents until the people from 70 years ago get their homes back. That includes the dead
Right.
ones. Until they can dig up the bodies of the dead people and prop them back up in their homes, those kids should live in those tents.
Yeah. Okay.
Colombia. That is the pro-violent speech, Robbie, that we actually need to urgently deal with. You are reproducing it right there.
The students are not the ones that called for remote work. The administration is doing that, and some people think it's as a cudgel to try to make it seem as though the students are actually disrupting the functioning of the university in a way that they frankly are not.
They clearly are, though. There's going to be no in-person classes, compromising the educational processes at the university, and then they're going to complain later that they can't get jobs and we have to pay for their student loans.
Well,
Yeah, they're kind of doing that for the faculty, right? Because they can't secure the safety of the faculty. So they're like,
Right,
yeah,
and
don't
they
come
don't
to
wanna get sued.
campus. Yeah, exactly. They're like, let's just all go remote learning.
Well, and also they can't do graduation.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, nobody's mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Wonderful.
It seems like this is really backfiring. The
On the protesters?
Columbia's choice to be so draconian and authoritarian with their protest immediately has sparked now at least half a dozen other campuses across the country to set up similar kinds of encampments. And there was much more a police presence in the New York instance because unlike Columbia, which is on private property, NYU is a university that's obviously embedded in the streets of New York. And so the university president there was able to call the police on these protesters, which is, I think, why it was so important for so many of the adult faculty members to come out and show such strong solidarity with them and for the safety of their students.
But conservatives are.
I hope they fire every single one of those teachers. Just get out of here. Get out of here. You're going to stand and make a little human chain in front of students who we've told to disperse, and you're going to protect them. You're fired. You're done. Get out. Get out.
We should watch that TYT clip too.
Which one?
The one where they cover the faculty member that gets her head slammed by the police.
Oh, right. Yes, yes.
Pretty good.
Conservatives are still calling for Shafik to resign and the heads of these other universities to resign. Whatever they're doing,
moving on.
They're not up.
All right, that's it.
Maybe just go to the last minute because I think they wrap.
I mean, she completely cornered him on his point about being. It's amazing how the right has just entirely abandoned their calls for free speech. Now,
did she corner him on what? His position was, I don't want the police to come, but if they're not going to class, they should They should be failed for not going to class. And yeah, they are disrupting. They are obviously disrupting college, and it's insane or delusional for you to pretend like they're not.
How is keep restricting certain students from areas of the campus? How is that free speech, Sitch? Explain that to me.
Well, those students, Adam, they are Zionists. Or potential Zionists, okay? Unless you're wearing a shirt that says, fuck Israel, how are they supposed to know if you're on their side? Okay, they can't know that. They can't read minds. So
that's
obviously
not
for
free
their
speech, though. That has nothing to do with freedom of speech.
That has everything to do with freedom of speech, okay?
Maybe if like restricting people from certain areas is part of your performance art or something, I don't know, but that doesn't make any sense.
No. See, this is Sitch's law. It's all Sitch's law, okay? We're all arguing about definitions. Because when they say free speech, what they mean is they want the freedom to say whatever they want and no one gets to not agree with them. Okay. That's what free speech is. It's when you can say whatever you want, wherever you want, for as long as you want, and no one gets to tell you no.
Camping out on campus is not free speech, though.
When those
occupying an
kids-
area that you don't have the legal right to occupy, it has nothing to do with freedom of speech.
You're wrong. You're so wrong. How are you so wrong? Those kids, okay, when they were
You're
three,
wrong.
when they were 3, okay,
this is comedy gold, man.
when those kids on the Columbia campus were 3 years old, and they were in the grocery store, and they said, "Mommy, I want you to buy me the chocolate chip cookies." And Mommy said, "No, you'll spoil their appetite." And they started screaming and saying, "I want a cookie now." And they started wetting their pants and pounding their fists on the floor. And everyone in the grocery store was looking at them. That was free speech. That was free speech, preparing them for this beautiful moment in their college lives, where they will now become adults.
Not answering my question, but we can move on.
Okay, Robbie over here dodging and ducking away from the questions.
This is exactly what Robbie said. Robbie said, look, they can't disrupt classes. That's not freedom of speech. Robbie,
yes, it is.
It's not.
It's my freedom to yell in your teacher's face till he can't teach classes anymore. That's freedom of speech by definition.
You can't cordon off an area and prohibit people from entering when you have absolutely no right to do that and call it freedom of speech. Emma is bonkers here. Emma is just categorizing this as freedom of speech is crazy. I don't think she's tracking what's actually going on in the conversation.
No, I understand. Okay, I'm sorry. This is my fault. I understand what the mistake is. I understand where the confusion is coming from. Okay, I didn't make myself clear. And Emma, listen, I like Emma. I'm on her side here, but she didn't really make her argument clear either. So let me kind of try to clear this up for you. Okay. See, the thing is that the protesters are on the right side of history. And the people that don't like the protesters are Nazis. So therefore, if you're on the right side of history, anything you do is good. And anything against them is bad. All right. It's very simple, Adam. I don't know why you can't get this.
So is anything you do that's good, is that freedom of speech? Is that categorized as speech?
Anything
speaking
that I do as the avatar. I am the literal avatar of the right side of history. Okay. The 4 nations have come together to birth me, the avatar of the right side of history. Anything I do by definition becomes correct.
Let's say a Zionist rolls up in a nice car, okay?
Okay, I'm listening.
And he gets out and leaves the car running.
Burnt
okay?
to the ground. He's causing climate change. He probably wants to trap all the CO2 from the emissions and send it directly to Palestine.
Look, if I get in the Zionist car and take it to my house and park the car in my garage, and put it in my name, is that freedom of speech?
Yes, it is. It's the freedom of your speech to write on a piece of paper that car belongs to you now.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I want to get this clear. So basically, in Emma's mind, anything that happens to a Zionist is freedom of speech.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now that we've cleared that up, we can move forward.
Now that it doesn't align with the with leftist college students, basically.
I mean, even the text is saying, previously when people were showing up with swastika flags on, hey, you know what? What can we do? It's free speech. Members of the public can show up.
Did they cordon off an area of the school and forbid people to go into it?
Yes, but
this is so dumb.
What are you not getting, Adam? They're right. They're on the right side of history. They can do whatever they want.
Okay. These people are retarded. This is ridiculous.
And then now it's no members of the public can show up. This is just
And they don't
safety.
even respect their audience enough to like actually address it. They just move on from it. They don't address their past hypocrisy because it was useful at one time and now it's not useful.
Exactly. It's all in the moment. But I just wanted this wrapped up in a way that I thought,
Okay.
I like conflict, so I like it.
He wasn't arrested and hauled away. What are you talking about?
Doesn't he have a free speech right to be on the campus
Shy
as well,
David, I
to
was talking
protest
about.
and to engage in?
Pause
His
just real
card
quick.
was deactivated.
Doesn't that professor have a right to go on and call students capos and terrorists?
Terrorists.
I think the university is right to fire him, and I think the university should allow the students to be on the park field, setting up an encampment, protesting their university's involvement in genocide. I think this is actually fairly easy to square. Go ahead, Bradley.
So this is the Jewish professor that they forbid to go on campus because they couldn't guarantee his security, and it would be a liability.
We
for
watched the
them,
clip
right?
of him,
Yeah,
last week.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So they're basically saying they wouldn't allow him on the campus because he was gonna call the protesters names and stuff like that. That's not what happened. Not at all what happened. But
no. You don't understand. Okay.
again, with the you don't understand.
I listen, Adam. I'm your
Boy,
friend
you're
here,
like a
but you
huge Emma
don't
simp
understand.
today. Jeez.
Okay.
Simp
No, I'm a
class
Matt
is in.
simp today. I'm simping for blue hat here. All right. For Matt hat. All right. This is the way it works. When you have kids on campus who create a human chain that say other kids that disagree with us are not allowed to enter this area of campus. Okay.
Right.
That's freedom of speech. When college kids create an encampment that makes it so no one can go to graduation ceremonies and classes get canceled, that's called freedom of speech. But when you have a
This is not
teacher,
freedom of speech.
yes, it is. And when you have a teacher come on campus and say, I think these kids are acting like terrorists, that's not freedom of speech. Fire him. That's violence. That's terrorism. He's calling kids terrorists. He's the terrorist. That's not freedom of speech. Get him out of here.
Well, they didn't even kick him off campus because of what he said. They kicked him off campus because they were afraid these crazy students were going to beat the shit out of him.
That's just what they're telling you. That's just what the deep state is telling you. Okay. The Biden administration, deep state.
Okay. You're mixing your tribes here.
No, I'm voting for Cornell West. What are you talking about? That's right, guys. It's official. I'm voting for Cornell West for president this
Okay.
election.
All right.
Okay.
Well, at least you'll be
Is
on
he even
the-
running still? I hope I'm going to write his name in if he's not running. You know what? I'm going to vote for Emma Vigeland. I'm going to write her name in the little slot for president. I don't care that she doesn't want it. We need her. We need her wisdom, okay, to run the country.
She doesn't even know what freedom of speech is.
Freedom of speech is when you don't let people access certain areas of locations. What don't you understand about this?
Okay.
Interfaith Shabbat dinner, that in prayer session. That's the event. That's
They're such dumbasses at the Majority Report. They don't even know to put the video up when they play it. How are these people?
They're getting there. They're getting there. Listen, give
How
them
do
a
these
break.
people? Matt is like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be producer.
Matt
And
is
they-
on the surface of the sun, Adam. Can't you see? He's very hot. He's sweaty. He's confused about what he's supposed to do.
Matt is like, oh yeah, I'm the show producer. Here, let me
Yes.
fix this.
one of the events that these professors were protecting at NYU.
Oh my God, these dumbasses. These dumbasses. You see what's going on here, Sitch?
I do. Yeah, I do. He's looking around. He's confused. He's like, why is this happening? What's happening?
And outside agitators, people in Columbia, it was much easier to see because it's a private institution. People who didn't have access to the university, including Shai Davidai, the professor you mentioned, who's under investigation for doxing and attacking students. That's why his key card isn't working anymore.
Oh, so he should be arrested and hauled away.
He wasn't arrested and hauled away. What are you talking about?
So I kept seeing this accusation that he
Was
was
doxing
doxing
students?
people.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
And I looked up and I couldn't find what they were referring to at all. I looked up on Twitter and I saw people making accusations, but no one pointing to what he was doing, except there was like one video he put up where he was filming people that were in the encampment. And I don't know if that is that doxing the people that are on the encampment. Is that doxing them? So I don't know what the heck they're talking about.
They made
I
it
mean,
up.
that's doxing. You're not allowed to film the people that are preventing you from going to class on campus. Okay, that's part of free speech is that I get to go on private property and say you can't come here, even though the person that owns the property tells me to leave, and you also can't film my face while I'm doing it. That's freedom of speech.
Don't you love it when you give out your kidnapper's personal information and everyone's like, doxing? It's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a free speech right to be on the campus as well, to
To dox
protest and to
students.
engage in?
His card was deactivated because he was harassing students and he's under investigation.
Okay, he's harassing students, but the protesters there who they're trying to deal with, they're not harassing anyone.
Yes.
He's a
Mic drop. Yes. Robbie gets it. Exactly.
No. Robbie's wrong, Adam.
No,
We already
Sitch.
went through this, okay? Not letting people enter area of free speech, calling people terrorists, not free speech. It's so simple. Once you understand that those kids are on the right side of history and that teacher is on the wrong side of history.
faculty member who has an obligation not
All
to
right,
dox
you
and
found
harass
you
students. It's a
found someone
loophole.
involved in these protests who is worthy of discipline. I'm amazed by it.
Look, and I don't even know that any of that is true. You said you looked into the claims and you couldn't find them. So
Well, I saw that he was saying that the people, now to be clear, he was saying that the people that are shouting the pro-Hamas stuff are terrorists. And he was specifically talking about, he showed like a clip that was like some of the clips that we showed where people were talking about attacking Israel. And he was referring to that picture of the girl holding the sign saying Hamas's next target. And it was like the people with the Israeli flag.
yeah,
And he was saying that that's terrorist. So he said that, but I don't see the doxing claim. That I've never seen anyone substantiate that.
All right. I think we're going to be talking about this additionally with an expert.
Look how triggered she is. Look how triggered Briahna is. She's like
Yeah.
pure teeth gnashing, triggered. Like, did this bitch just say this to me?
Briahna knows that Robbie believes she's full of shit.
Yeah.
It triggers the shit out of her.
I know. Look at that. Look at that.
An expert from the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression coming up
Should
next.
Robbie answer this question? Do you think the National Guard should be sent in to round up these students per Tom Cotton and
No.
of conservatives? I'm so glad that you have found somebody you're willing to condemn in the context of the
I have
authoritarian
no
overreach.
problem
All
condemning,
right, more
nor do
rising
I
coming
ever.
up after this.
All right, this is
All they do is straw man Robbie's position. That's all they do, and then
I know.
they think it's like some giant win.
Yeah. Well, Robbie's on the wrong side of history, so that's what you're supposed to do.
She didn't even know. She thought Robbie would say, "Yeah, hell yeah, they should arrest them all." That's what she was gunning for, but he was like, "No,
I know.
of course not.
I know.
Don't be crazy."
this freak Shay Davidai, and this is what he was doing, running around the campus, demanding that the National Guard get sent on the student body that pays, in theory, his bills.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way,
Look, she goes the total customer route. These
I
students
know.
are paying these people are paying your salary. You have to
what-
put up with their kidnapping.
What about the students who are paying to go to school and can't?
Yeah, look at that.
Is
What
that
about
matter?
those? Yeah,
What about
Emma,
those
what
kids?
about them?
What about
What
those
about
kids?
them?
They're on the wrong
What
side
about
of
those
history.
Zionists?
he is a complete minority. I have been so inspired to see the faculty linking arms with their students and literally, and also getting arrested and roughed up, as we saw at Emory University, professors literally getting thrown to the ground violently, a female professor, by the way, by police. This guy's a complete in the minority. The faculty and student body are united against an administration that is not interested in education. They're interested in their benefactors.
Yeah. I mean, this is a perfect encapsulation of the libertarian approach to free speech, which is like, I'm concerned about
war.
the guy with authority
Yeah.
not allowed to exercise his authority to support doxing students like the Canary Mission, where you...
Dude, this guy's such an idiot, Sitch.
I know.
He doesn't know Libertarians want to get libertarians score very low on authority. Like they are not into giving authority over to the government and letting them crack heads.
No. But all the socialists believe that libertarians are either secret fascist or useful idiots for fascists.
Yeah.
And
dumb.
I mean, but Matt here is like a total extra stupid head, because Robbie's point to bringing that up was saying, wait a minute, Briahna, you're being hypocritical. How are you saying that this guy, his free speech shouldn't be protected, but the students' free speech to be in the encampment should be protected?
Yes. Yeah.
That's why he brought it up. He wasn't bringing it up because he was saying like, oh, I really want to throw my sport with this guy. He was just saying, how are you being hypocritical? Which, by the way, these two chuckleheads are also so retardedly hypocritical on this, and they're so dumb. They're so dumb. Their head is so far up the smell of their own farts that they can't even perceive how insanely hypocritical they're being on this issue.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's so funny about it. They don't even recognize it. They completely misunderstand what Robbie is saying, and then they go on repeating the straw man that they've created.
Yes.
You go to kids' neighborhoods and say, hey, this kid supporting Palestine is actually a terrorist, and you put a giant billboard up in their neighborhood. That's the free speech that Robbie Soav, and probably Fire.org too, who I think maybe is being shunned a little bit into not being complete Zionist sellouts in the free speech issue. But that's where libertarian free speech is at on there, and it is a disgrace.
So apparently Robbie's in favor of creating giant signs in people's neighborhoods to dox them. Do you remember when he said that in the video?
No, not at all.
I missed that. Yeah.
It's bizarre that they're like, yes, we want to adopt terrorist tactics. Oh, don't call me a terrorist. How dare you? It's like you want to basically cordon off areas and forbid people to go in by force. Mm-hmm. But we're not terrorists. This is freedom of speech.
And then also like they attack Fire, okay, which is the free speech organization, Greg Lukioff's organization that he's associated with. And I was like, what did they say about this? And I was going on their website, I was going on their Twitter feed. The only thing that they were saying about this really was that they were criticizing Texas for sending in the police / National Guard to go, arrest, beat up the students.
Right.
That was Fire's. That was like 90% of their coverage on this was criticizing this very action that dumbfuck Matt here would agree with. And yet for no reason other than the fact that he's a communist and the people at Fire are actual liberals, Matt here is like, those evil Zionist shills at Fire.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is just stupidity. More, I guess stupidity and communism have like a psychic link. You gotta really be stupid to adopt communism.
True. Yeah, that's true. You can't have one without the other.
Disgrace. It is exactly the sort of disgrace that we have always been calling it when these people say, oh, you know what? Speech isn't violence. Let people do it. All of a sudden now it's Jewish students being attacked when actually it's Zionists being kept out of an encampment that they're probably trying to do stage bullshit in. I mean, it couldn't be a perfect representation of how BS libertarians are on this issue.
Just really quickly, this is the freak that he's defending.
I know it's painful to say this. I know there's a fraud history in the United States with U.S. colleges, but it's time to bring in the National Guard because the NYPD is in over their head. Obviously, the President Shafiq and the administration are unwilling to do anything about this. I know it's painful.
So the NYPD is to the left of the administration.
Meanwhile, we jump cut to all the people saying, burn Tel Aviv to the ground, Antifada, from the river to the sea, Hamas make us proud. And these two chuckleheads are like, listen, those people are on the right side of history, guys. Okay. So you just need to shut up and say and accept it.
Well, if you're that guy that is a professor and he was not allowed to go on campus because they couldn't guarantee his safety. Like if I'm not able to get to my job because my employer can't guarantee my safety.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm saying call in the National Guard, right? I'm like, look, I want to be safe.
Mhm.
Bring in the National Guard and take away all the people who are making me feel unsafe, right?
Mhm.
The people who are putting my safety at risk.
Right.
So look, he's got a dog in this fight. He doesn't want to
Sure.
get beat up.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't agree with calling the National Guard. I don't think that's necessary.
Right.
But I do think it's funny that the free speech warriors here, Emma and Matt, like you have this guy who he used his free speech, okay, to say that he thinks the people supporting Hamas are terrorists.
Right.
And that saying that gets him such a zoned in red X on him from the protesters that the school can't guarantee his safety and is afraid that he'll be attacked if he enters campus. Because those students, obviously, they're really big supporters of free speech at that point, right? The people that would attack this guy for what he said are obviously very big supporters of free speech.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah.
Administration of Columbia, because they have said that they did not receive any threats of violence.
That guy calling for
towards the students.
That guy calling for the National Guard to come Kent State students is just doing free speech.
Oh, and I just want to be precise in my language.
Listen, that guy, when he said he wanted the National Guard to come in, what he meant was that he wanted the National Guard to come in and kill those people. Okay. Now, he didn't say that, but I could look into his little eyes and I could tell that's what he wanted because he's a Zionist pig.
No threats to Jewish students from within the demonstrators. They did not receive, or they did not see violence towards Jewish students from the demonstrators.
I see.
Did you like that? She's like, listen, there were no threats to Jewish students. And then she's like, wait a minute, that's not true. I mean, there was no violence towards Jewish students.
There were threats, but no violence.
Yes. Yeah. We watch videos of there being threats, telling people go back to Europe.
I have seen violence from Zionist protesters at these encampments telling those anti-Zionists to go to Gaza. And we know what's happening in Gaza is...
Uh-oh.
That's violence.
Look, I've said go to Gaza. Now look, I'm making violence.
Yeah, if you say go to Gaza, that is literal. That's not free speech, Adam. That's violence.
That's a violent threat, huh?
That's a violent threat. Yeah, because
These guys
when you say go to Gaza, you obviously have the power and ability to snap your fingers to use your Star Trek teleporter to teleport them to Gaza, right in the middle of a bombing run by the IDF Zionist pigs. Okay.
All of this is just post hoc rationalization, just like rationalizing why they are correct and everyone else is wrong.
Yeah.
It's so transparent.
Yes.
These are the most biased people on the planet.
And the dumbest.
Well, I think the two are correlated, obviously.
They are. They go hand in hand.
Stupidity and biasness.
Mm-hmm.
Gaza's being bombed into smithereens. So what I take from those IDF or those Israeli and supporting Zionist protesters is that they want violence to happen to those protesters. Now, I think it should be in their freedom of speech rights to say that, and we'll just make content out of it. But yeah, like...
No, you don't, Matt. Don't lie. We know. We see right through you.
I can't. I appreciate Bree going at Robbie there because it's all the back and forth of like, I don't actually support the National Guard being called in, but I am going to position as the victim here, the guy who was calling for the National Guard to be called in on students he's supposed to be caring for. And I'm sorry, like, also, this isn't just a free speech issue. This is a genocide.
I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. Communists don't understand what it means to have principles.
Of course, yeah.
Goes against the whole concept. Everything has to be through the lens of P plus P equals R and the right side of history.
Yeah, it can't be consistent principles. Of course not. Someone might be oppressed, and then you have to let them get away with murder, Sitch.
Exactly.
We tried to get Matt on the show, and Matt was just a big old diaper baby. He couldn't do it. Like, Sam Cedar came on. Sam Cedar... And that was a pretty contentious talk, but Sam Cedar treated it like a champ. Come on, Matt.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember. He was like whining about me on Twitter for something. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, why don't you come on? I think it's something to do with trans issues. Like, we can come talk about it. And he's like, no.
Yeah, look, I gotta look. I'm not even allowed to go on camera on the majority. Look, now you're moving up, Matt. Look, you're even on camera.
There you go.
They're allowing you to go on camera now, so you could easily you could talk to us. Look, if you need it, you can bring a friend even.
Yes.
Yeah, bring your emotional support animal. Bring your dog or something.
I can't believe you'd call Emma a dog. Okay.
Oh well, look, Emma's allowed as well. So
right.
I wasn't calling Emma an emotional support
That's his emotional
animal.
support
Okay.
animal.
Look, we would love to have Emma on. Emma, you're welcome too.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your SAT scores. We want to look at them.
Side issue. This is Israel is doing a genocide, and they are having their assets in U.S. media avert your gaze onto college students that are being righteous about it on it. So Robbie, you are the person that we're coming after now. Like we're not this sort of thing. Josh Marshall too, calling these protesters Charlottesville. This is a material support of a genocide. This isn't just we're talking about the issues of the day. This job actually has some meaning in the world, and
this is how radical extremism reads. Okay, so we went from if you don't support college kids locking down a campus for their cause, then you are literally supporting genocide. Okay. That's the extremist rhetoric that breeds violence. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, you dumb idiot.
Brutality.
All these dumb kids on the college campus are really moving the needle in the Palestinians' favor. Right? They're really helping the cause, aren't they?
Prosecuting a war against a hostile foreign power is not a genocide. Just so you know, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this is like Sam Harris talking about like what's wrong with torture at the time we're having that debate.
Right.
You cannot do this in these moments. At a certain point, it's test time.
Oh,
and
yes.
Robbie's failing it.
Well, I mean, come on. Like then they go hands off. Like, oh, we're just having this conversation outside of the context of literally the urgent moment that we are living in, right? And then, but like we can't engage in theoretical conversation anymore about the nature of torture. About like, who's more aggrieved right now? The Zionists living in comfort in the United States, or the Palestinians who are starving to death and who lost their entire family. It's like
I do honestly think a lot of this is word thinking. I think these people are literally too stupid to think in concepts. They only think in words. And they hear the word genocide, and it's like a picture of the Holocaust pops into their brain. And immediately all of the other words populate their brain that go with that, and just they can't think clearly, or they can't put together any sort of conceptual idea or even a narrative like with a through line, with a chain of events that have led us to where we are today. It's just all over. It's like genocide. Ah!
Yeah, I think you're completely correct.
Yeah.
And I mean, did you notice like Emma completely misses the point? So the conversation right now about the college campuses, the two sides are the pro-Palestinian protesters who have taken over the college campus and put it on lockdown, and everyone else. And then she transforms that to the Zionists in America who feel uncomfortable, and the literal people dying in Palestine right now to a genocide.
Right. Yep. Weak.
Yeah, we can. We can. We can engage in that thought experiment, or we could deal with the urgent realities of politics.
Moment of silence for Emma trying to engage in a thought experiment.
Emma doesn't even know what she ate for breakfast yesterday.
Structured our world in a way that is respective to the crisis that we see.
Yeah. So if you're going to start exaggerating the threat that posed by students who are just trying to stop a genocide, just know that this heat is not one that I don't think people that are on our side should be afraid of, because it should have been turned up a long time ago. This is an issue that needs a lot more light, and there's no light without heat.
Gotta bring the
Look,
heat. Okay. Gotta bring the heat.
the
man.
idea that this issue needs more attention is laughable, Matt. What are you talking
This-
about? It's on every single station, on every single channel. Every pundit is talking about it. Like, we've been talking about it for months now. What is he talking about? Everyone in the world knows this is going on. It's not like some covert thing that's happening and nobody knows about.
They're
What a
talking about it
retard.
wrong, though, Adam.
What a fucking retard.
No, they're talking about it wrong. Okay. They're not saying that Israel is the great Hitler and that anyone that doesn't automatically want to remove Israel from existence is also the great Hitler adjacent supporter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're not talking about it as if they're a brain dead socialist. So, therefore.
That's true. That's all that matters.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's read some super chats.
That was very,
That was
very
fun.
funny and very annoying at the same time. I can't. When people just like have no concept of what is actually going on, it's very frustrating, Sitch.
That is true. That is true. It's also funny. You got to just be the comedian, okay? You got to laugh about it.
Yeah. Where are the ladies?
There you go. J-Mac, our surrogate father, thank you so much, Daddy J-Mac, for the $100.
Yes,
so
thanks.
Much. Says, so if it's okay because Jews are saying it is, what are her thoughts on Candace Owens, Clarence Thomas, and all the black Republicans? Seems a wee bit one-sided, doesn't it? Seems it only matters when people I agree with that exist in the opposing demographic speak up,
Very true.
Completely
Very true, obviously.
Depressed Canadian for 20 Canadian, thank you. Says Anna Brown was unblocked and reported and called out the majority report's awful treatment of Jesse Singal while they praised Norman Finkelstein, who made anti-trans comments. Anna also implied she's no longer friends with them. Well, there you go. Ace.
No longer friends with people. Look, I can't wait to. That must have just come out recently because I usually listen to Blocked and Report it. So she said she was going to go on. I can't wait to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, look, I don't think Majority Report, we covered it. They didn't treat Jesse fair at all, obviously.
No,
so.
yeah, they didn't even let him, they barely let him talk. They just kept cutting him off. Yeah.
Who have they treated fair? Just name one person. Name one person that they've treated fair.
Norman Finkelstein.
He doesn't count. He's on their side, obviously.
Yeah, everyone on their side is who they treat fair.
Yeah.
No one else. Yeah.
They don't. They suck up to them.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Metal Face Rose for $2 says Briahna is a tsundere. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Libertarian Sasquatch for $2 says they're not Jews, they're Zionists.
Wink. Yep.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's going on. It's like the
Jay
workaround.
Jay for $5 says
anti-Semitic.
Yeah, exactly.
Wink, wink.
Jay for $5 says, I'm sorry, did I just hear that fart spray is going to send people to the hospital? Listen, it was a very nasty fart. Okay, it was that fart, very smelly.
Who said that?
That's one of them said that. They said apparently some evil Zionists came into the protests and let out fart spray that sent people to the hospital. Supposedly, I
Really?
never heard about this, but okay.
Ooh.
M8566 for $10 says, have you guys thought about getting Little Platoon on the show? He used to cover politics more in his early YouTube days, and I know he's aware of you guys.
Yeah, look, I've argued with Little Platoon on Twitter, so I know he's aware of us.
Nice.
But yeah, we'd love to have him on, definitely. He's been on before, so.
Karaman502 for $10 says, what's the deal with the eye stabbing thing? Is it actually fabricated, or did someone get an eye injury from a flagpole but didn't pierce it? So now it's an example of Zionist propaganda. So when I heard about this story, I didn't really talk about it that much because I don't know. I was just kind of like, someone got hit in the eye. They went to the hospital, and then I saw a video of the person afterwards, and their eye seemed to be totally fine. So I was just like, okay, I'm not going to really talk about this. Use an example unless I see evidence of it. When I saw a video, I don't know if it's the video, but I saw a video people were saying is supposed to be a video of the incident, and it looked like total bullshit if that was actually a video. It looked like someone was just walking by waving one of those little tiny flags, and someone was kind of standing there filming and it accidentally hit themselves in the eye with it or something. That's what it looked like to me. So
wow.
I'm gonna say that the flagpole thing, probably I'm gonna lean on the 90% probably BS. So
right, good.
Nuclear Fantasies for $2 says, why does Briahna Joy Gray think she speaks for the Jews? Well, that's a good question. And I have the answer for you. Okay. Are you familiar with the book, The Lorax?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss, you know the little yellow guy? He speaks for the trees.
Right.
Okay. That's Briahna Greyjoy. She speaks for the Jews.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. She's gonna sit on her little menorah. She's gonna put on a yarmulke. She says, I'm the Greyjoy. I speak for the Jews.
I hate it even when Jewish people are like, I speak for the Jews. Like, this is one of my huge pet peeves. It's like, you don't get to speak for an entire group just because you are a member of that group. Like, no one elected you. Just sit the fuck down. That's my attitude.
Yeah. But except for me, I speak for everyone.
No, you don't. Thankfully, you don't do it. You're not like I speak for the Jews.
I always speak for the Jews. Okay.
I speak for the atheists for Jesus.
Right.
No, I don't.
J-Mac, our surrogate father, for $50. Thank you so much. Said, also, Sitch, Adam treated me to some of LA's best barbecue cuisine. What Florida hotspot are you going to introduce me to when I inevitably come to bother you? The producer takes care of his talent, yes, but how will the talent take care of the producer?
That's exactly right. You better
that.
take J-Mac out for a good
listen, it's a good
meal.
point. I got to take J-Mac out somewhere nice. So I'll get a nice place. Okay, I'll get a place much nicer than Hoggly Woggly. Okay, we'll go to some fancy schmancy place. All right.
Sean, actual Justice Warrior, I think, tried to do dinner with Sitch. He was in Florida for something. And Sitch stood him up. Sitch
no, that's not what was happening.
Sitch
totally
rejected him.
That's not what happened, okay? They were like,
you better not reject J-Mac like that. No, you better not throw J-Mac under the
Why?
bus.
Okay,
our entire show could fall apart.
First of all, I will 100% take J-Mac out to eat. Okay. So get out of here. He is my surrogate father. Of course, I'll take him. How much money has Sean given to us? Not J-Mac levels. He doesn't deserve my presence.
Well, I mean, he's super chatted a couple times, so Sean.
Yeah, that's it. He doesn't deserve my presence.
He's a colleague. You should still go out.
That wasn't okay. You're telling the story wrong. I don't even know if this is a public story. You just told it wasn't like Sean was like, oh, I'm like near where you are, Sitch, let's go out to eat, because then I would have obviously done it. It was like, oh, I'm driving by somewhere on like a 4-hour car journey and I'll pass you, Sitch, and then we'll go another like 2 hours down to some place to get a sandwich. Do you want to join me? And like 4 other people to squeeze in the back of a car, and I was like, no, thank you. Okay.
Wait a second. I didn't know about the.
I know. I mean, he was like doing all these.
That's not
the details here. All right.
Sean. 4 other people in the back seat of a Honda.
I was like, okay. I was like, listen, I appreciate it, but no, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's not.
Get out of here.
That's not good accommodations. So.
No.
Look,
now
I'm on your. Look, now I'm on your side, Sitch. No was the right answer.
Listen, when you take me to dinner, okay, I demand a stretch limousine or a Hummer. All right.
Look, I'm not going to get you a stretch limousine, but I'll at least let you have your own seat. How about that?
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were going to give me a Hummer.
No, okay. No Hummers.
Okay. Hail the free voice for $5. Says, Adam, it's time A-Class invested in Liberty Prime. Apparently, freedom of speech means blocking out people you disagree with so they can't speak or attend. True.
Ugh, I hate that.
True. Metalface Rose for $5 says, is it weird I find Briahna more attractive the crazier she gets? It's the opposite for Emma. I mean, listen, that's a thing for some guys, okay? You can fix them, right?
No, I agree. Crazy girls are hot, so.
There you go.
I concur. I'm with Metalface.
M8566 for $5 says, Colombia breathes air. You know who else breathes air? Israel.
I want to address Metalface's super chat a little bit more here because sure. There is this kind of
this is a very important thing to talk about.
Yeah, there is this strangeness because so he's saying Briahna, it gets more attractive the crazier she gets. I think you're mistaking Emma's craziness for stupidity. Like the stupidity is unattractive. Okay. Like I could see where it's kind of borderline. You're like, is she stupid? Is she crazy? I think that's your unconscious mind saying, look, this isn't crazy, which is sexy. This is stupid, which is unattractive. So, Sitch, what are your thoughts on that?
I think they're all stupid. Okay.
Really?
I think they're all crazy stupid.
I
There
think
you go.
Briahna is super intelligent. I think she's just insane. And I think that's what's hot.
I think Briahna is smarter than Emma.
Oh, yeah.
Briahna,
look, obviously.
Briahna seems to be able to articulate arguments, which I disagree with completely, but seems to be able to put together some kind of argument in a far better way than Emma, who just is like completely driven by care, harm, emotion. So
yeah.
So.
Yes, intuition. She's fully intuition based.
Genie Payment for $5 says protesters used annoy the general public. It was ineffective. True.
Yeah, that's not a good way to go.
Philip Kogans for $5 says the last time the Jordanians let them in, they started a civil war. The last time the Egyptians let them in, they killed Sadat.
Yeah, look, they got a bad track record.
Time for Jack to let a rip for $5 says genuine question. Does ROR, what's ROR? Oh, right of return, imply that Irish Americans have the right to take homes away from people with Anglo-Irish ancestry who live in Dublin? Why wouldn't it? That's a good point.
Yeah, look, it's the same thing for Native Americans here in America. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why this is not good.
Mm-hmm. Select for $5 says, to be honest, I kind of would prefer that colleges let this stuff happen and slowly close down due to dropping enrollment rates. I mean, maybe. You could be onto something. Maybe. Where was I? Moondoggy for $10 says around Columbia where they would rip down the kidnap posters, someone's been writing "The West is next," and pair that with seeing them up and close and hearing them, they just seem power hungry and tweaky. There you go.
I agree. Yeah, they're drunk on their own power.
That's right. Stellic for $5 says clarification, not actual violence, just the obstructive protesting. There you go. Grendel with that for 14 months says, did anyone else fall out of their chair laughing when she said Columbia was too draconian? I mean, yeah, I know. It's like they let these kids throw a hissy fit and, set up their tents for like, what's it been 2 weeks now on campus? And, oh, listen, too draconian. Okay.
Not only that, we can't get one fucking expulsion out of these people. It's all suspension. Who cares? Yes. Who cares? We want heads on pikes. Right?
Right.
Look, metaphorically, obviously. We're just talking about expelling a few kids, not killing them.
Yeah. Osh received for $5 says, Adam, why do you love the wrong side of history so much? I mean, that's the real question.
Look,
that's a great question. Why do you love the wrong side of history?
Adam is always on the right side of history. How dare you, ostracy?
Not with this one. Not with this one. Nomad for 12 months says, look at that. It's already been a year. Congratulations. Thanks so much for supporting us for a whole year. Just want to say thanks for the right content. Stay based, Sitch and Adam, and here's for another year. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Puck971 for $5 says, my Asian parents would have told me to stay in my tent if I got suspended at college and not come home.
That's so funny. Yeah. Right. My folks would have kind of said the same thing. They'd be like, what? You doing what? Yeah, you're going to need that tent because that's going to be your new home.
Gene the Angry Penguin for $5 says, don't forget Columbia deadline to leave campus is 2 p.m. Also a woman professor. Oh, when the pleas start coming and equal fights go out the door. Yes.
Right.
And yes, so, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, but yeah, so at 2 p.m. today was the deadline.
Is
the
it
deadline
passed?
for the kids to have to leave campus or leave encampment or they're going to get suspended.
It's like 3 p.m. Eastern, right? It's Eastern.
It's already past the deadline.
Right. Yes. Okay, good.
And, there were some kids I've had some live streams up of the campus going on just to see if people are leaving or not. There's a
Right.
bunch of people around, mostly people who are just looking to see if the people are leaving.
Are going to get arrested or something.
Yeah, there's more people watching to see what they'll do than I think actual people in the camp.
That's
Which is
hilarious.
kind of hilarious. But so there actually were some students that you could see at around 2 that took down their tents and left, but the majority of the tents and the kids are still there.
Yeah, of
Still there.
course. They're thumbing their nose.
And there's even a lady walking her dog, and she gave her dog a little Palestinian flag cape. Look at that. How
Oh.
sweet and adorable is that, right?
Repulsive. They don't even like they don't in Islam they don't even like dogs.
Oh my God, is that true? Those bastards.
Yeah.
Terrible. Baconvore for $5 says, have you noticed how many times people in the majority report use the word probably? They have little ability to make a point without a straw man. True.
Right.
Martin Cordy for 5 months says, I think a conservative is as good as what he conserves. What? I think a conservative is as good as what he conserved in the same way as a progressive is as good as what he progressed. Past/future inspiration. I agree with that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Mad Mulligan for 6 months says, did you guys see Robbie use an F-bomb calling out Briahna's BS today? Columbia said no to BDS at 10:20. No, wait. I'll check that out. Maybe we'll watch that on stream. That's hilarious.
Robbie's kicking it up.
Robbie dropped an F-bomb on Briahna. I can't believe he called her a gay slur.
Different F-bomb.
Oh.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Maybe he did call her a gay slur.
I'm just kidding. Columbia says no to BDS. I don't see this video. Why do I not see this video?
Mr. Ubercross for $5 says, did you see someone put a huge screen and loudspeaker of the October 7th massacre next to the pro-Hamas protest at UCLA? Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Now, was that to like support it? Was that to be like this is what you're supporting?
That's bringing it. That's persuasion. That's good persuasion right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nathaniel Rosen for 15 shekels says, I like that people in the camp celebrate Passover, holidays when Jews go to the Holy Land. That's a good point. That is a good point. Stug for $2 says, Sean was your biggest likes advocate, you fool. You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Listen, maybe I will go out to eat with Sean next time. He does try to pop up the likes on the channel, so good for him.
I can't remember what he wanted to eat, but it sounded delicious too.
It's like a crab sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Something like
that. Oh, yeah. Yummy crab sandwich.
TL1524 for $5 says, 1 Jew, 2 Jew, 3 Jew, 4. Ha 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 ha. We're overrepresented, so you Zionists get away from the door. There you go. I like it.
Ouch.
Twitter Stocks for $2 says JMac, Sitch, and TS Florida Man Range Day. Sure, that could be lots of fun. I'm down. Twitter Stocks for now $2 says Face Reveal Sitch uses a 50 cal BMG Keck. That'd be pretty based, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Bondu for $5 says Briahna is crazy but smart. Emma's dishonest but hides it with ignorance. People think crazy is hot if it is sincere, but what would I know? There you go.
Bondu nailed it right there.
Right. Depressed Canadian for 10 Canadian says Emma always downplays her wealthy background by just saying her parents were just lawyers. They were U.S. attorneys and her high school loan cost more than most universities. Oof.
Yeah.
Oofa. Look at that. JMac in the chat says Sean just wanted to give Sitch crabs. That's true. I was smart to
Yummy crab sandwich.
Okay. Let me refresh this Streamlabs. Kia. Dr. Diddler for $2 says, the older I get, the more I realize this bullshit is old tactics. Did you know the famous Kent State May 4th massacre was preceded by days of riots, students fighting with police, and threatening violence? I did not know that, but I should not be surprised, I guess. I don't really know that much about Kent State, but I should look into it. That's hilarious if that's the case. Death by Sloth for $2 says, I like how they always tout out the overrepresentation of Jews in these student protests and never consider the social ramifications for collegiate Jews who aren't seen as one of the good ones. Tokenization, what's that? True. Whenever there's a right-wing person who is a minority, they scream, token, token, token. And yet when it comes to the Jews, you have to listen, you have to shut up and listen to them. Okay, it's not a token.
Wow.
Sitch, I DM'd the tweet. You DM'd the tweet.
Wow.
An anonymous
Wow.
group has funded and
Wow.
constructed a giant screen with loudspeakers outside the UCLA pro-Hamas encampment showing footage of October 7th on a loop. That's pretty based.
Is that happening right now? Wow.
That's happening right now. That is pretty
Good.
based, yeah. And they're, yeah, obviously to show the horrors of what some of the people seem to be supporting. So good for that. Good for that.
Right.
People.
Hope they have a big sign with a red arrow that says, you support this.
Yes. Yes.
Be great.
Okay, so today's the day. The college university finally got off their ass, stopped being pussies, maybe. I guess we'll see. And has declared that the encampment must go, must be removed. Let me bring up I want to read this is what they sent out to the students. Notice to encampment. Columbia is committed to the well-being and safety of all students and follows two principles in managing public speech on campus: the right of members of the community to engage in protest and free expression, and the right of members of the community to pursue their academic activities without interruptions and free of harassment and discrimination. These principles are embodied in the rules of university code of conduct and other policies governing conduct on campus. As you're probably aware, the dialogue between the university and student leaders of the encampment is regrettably at an impasse. Oh my God. No. The current unauthorized encampment and disruption on Columbia's university campus is creating an unwelcoming environment for members of our community. External actors have contributed to this environment, especially around our gates, causing safety concerns, including for our neighbors. Exams are beginning, and thousands of your peers are due to graduate. These are among the most significant aspects of students' academic programs. Many of this year's graduates were deprived of a graduation celebration from high school because of the pandemic. For many of their families, this will be the first time anyone in their family has completed college and received a degree. We urge you to remove the encampment so that we do not deprive your fellow students, their families, and friends of this momentous occasion. The university will offer an alternate venue for demonstrations after the exam period and commencement has concluded.
Oh my God.
If the encampment is not removed, we will need to initiate disciplinary procedures because of a number of violations of university policies. You know, I want to see, like, what is this alternate venue? Is it like a back lot next to the dumpster or something?
They're like, yeah, look, you guys can protest right over here.
Yes. That's hilarious.
We
That
got
is
some
pretty
porta
shitty.
potties set up for you.
Can you imagine being the first person in your family to graduate from college? You work super hard for years in high school. You work super hard for years in college. And your family, you know, was so proud of you. They're like in tears. It's like this huge deal that you're graduating college. And they have like really, like, you know, your family like flying out or driving out to wherever you are to take your picture to celebrate. And you can't do it because a bunch of privileged shithead kids are decided to camp out on the front lawn of campus and accomplish absolutely nothing except to satisfy their own virtue signal and ego.
Yeah, that would be painful. I'd be super mad at those people. I'd tell them, look, get out of my way. How dare you?
Yes. The letter continues saying, please promptly gather your belongings and leave the encampment. If you voluntarily leave by 2 p.m., identify yourself to a university official and sign the provided form where you commit to abide by all university policies through June 30th, 2025. Oh my God. An entire year. Or the date of the conferral of your degree, whichever is earlier, you'll be eligible to complete the semester in good standing. Look at that. They're even willing to give them amnesty if they give up right now.
Yeah, give up.
That's
Go home.
crazy.
Get
Gonna
out of
give
here,
him
punk.
amnesty. And will not be placed on suspension as long as you adhere to this commitment. We want to do all that we can to allow our graduating students to finish their studies. It's important for you to know that the university has already identified many students in the encampment. If you do not identify yourself upon leaving and sign the form now, you will not be eligible to sign and complete the semester in good standing. If you do not leave by 2 p.m., you'll be suspended pending further investigation.
We already know who you are.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That is good, isn't it?
I like that.
We've already identified you. You've already been placed in the system. There's a cell waiting for you downtown.
We've already had our Zionist infiltrators infiltrate your little camp and take pictures of all your dumb little faces without your masks on, and we know every single one of you.
That's right.
Please understand during the interim suspension that you will be restricted from all Columbia University campuses, faculties, and property, including all academic, residential, and recreational spaces. Your CUID will no longer be valid and will be deactivated. You'll need to contact your dean of students to make arrangement to attain your personal belongings. So you won't even be able to get your stuff. Number 2, you are ineligible to participate in any Columbia University classes and or academic or extracurricular activities. You are not permitted to complete the spring 2024 semester, including participating in classes or exams in person or remote, or otherwise submit assignments or engage in any activities affiliated with Columbia University. You may lose a semester. If you are scheduled to graduate, you are no longer eligible. Damn, you are going to get BTFO'd hardcore. Why didn't they? This should have been like the day 1 letter, shouldn't it have been?
Oh, yeah. Opening salvo. I'm with you.
Day 1, boom. Day 2, gone. Let's see if there's anything else. We very much hope that you will leave the encampment and sign the form of your departure. If you decide not to, the university may pursue action under all the rules and policies described above. Sanctions include probation, access restriction, suspension for a term or more, and expulsion. We regret the need to take these actions, but we must restore order to the campus so that all the students can complete their work for the term, study for exams, and feel welcome in the community. Finally, jeez. Finally. If you are currently involved in a disciplinary process or have already received discipline, you are not eligible for the arrangements described in the form. You may not be eligible to complete the semester in good standing. In addition, if you are charged with discrimination or harassment regarding conduct occurring in the encampment, we will continue to address these concerns through our disciplinary processes. You'll no longer be eligible for the arrangements in this form. So if you already got in trouble, then you are SOL, baby. You are out of here.
Good.
And then, let's see, the last page says... The last page is just the alternate resolution form that you can sign off on that says that you basically comply with all this stuff if you're gonna surrender, I guess. So there you go. Now so as I said, when you look at the live streams, there were a bunch of people that left, but the majority of people still at the encampment, and actually a lot of people who are pro the movement, they're protesting outside the encampment. So I don't know if those people are going to be okay because they're not technically in the encampment. They're just going to protest outside the encampment.
Oh, so they left the encampment and now they're protesting around.
They're still, the tents are still in the encampment, but there's a lot of people who are protesting outside the encampment. Those are probably the students who were like too pussy to risk their academic career, but still want a virtue signal that they support. So they're like, we're not going to actually be in the encampment, but we're going to protest around the vicinity of the encampment. Woo!
I pulled up one of them, so I see there's like tents there and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the AP has a stream. I don't know if that's the one you pulled up.
No, I pulled up the Fox 5.
Oh, nice.
Columbia University protest live updates. Fox 5,
Nice.
New York, right there.
Good for Fox.
Yeah. They got the
Right.
Palestinian flag flying there.
Mm-hmm.
Should be an American flag, but, obviously.
No. Why? Yeah, look at all those tents still there. And all those kids walking around still supporting it. So, and there was, you see all those like people with the orange vests?
Yeah.
like the construction worker vest. Those apparently, I think, are all teachers and faculty that support the protests.
Okay.
That like they were going to show up and like if they are going to try to forcibly remove the students, they were going to become some kind of human wall or some nonsense for them. So
I mean, why do they have to forcibly remove them? They're just going to suspend them and deactivate their student cards. So
well, they're going
they're
to
like, you guys have
presumably
fun.
presumably they're going to forcibly remove them because they want to have access to the lawn for graduation, I assume.
Oh, okay. So this is where the graduation is going to take place.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess. So
These are all the students that flunked out, right?
yeah.
These are all the students that failed. I got
Man.
nothing left to lose.
It's gotta be depressing if you be like your college age and to see like how retarded so many of the students are on campus who just like current thing. We must support current thing.
Yeah, that's really what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should have an NPC meme on that flag there.
Twitter Sucks for $2 says, you heard him, Jay. Range day when you come down. Yes, definitely. Bang, bang. Mr. Borelli for $10 says, sad thing is we may be paying off these activist students, protesters loans in a few years, and Democrat cities will likely pay them settlements and quote police brutality lawsuits we know they will file. I am interested to see how the student loans things goes out, but Nomad for $5 says, oh yeah, Columbia U is gonna pull out the belt on these kids. Hopefully. I hope. Adam Godbob for $5 says, if only we had armbands so we could tell the good ones from the bad ones.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta separate the Jews from the Zionists, right? The good Jews from the Zionists. So give them armbands. Or the little Jewish, that's what they should do on Columbia campus so they could figure out who are the good Jews and who are the bad Jews that are Zionists. The ones that are Zionists, you should give them a little armband with the Star of David on it, right? Because that's the Israeli flag.
Oof.
That's a good idea.
Sitch.
What? You don't think that's a good idea?
Not really. I mean, the optics of it are pretty bad.
Listen. That's what I would do if I was part of the pro-Palestinian movement. This is what I would suggest.
You should put
Okay.
the Star of David on the shirt pocket, not the armband. Come on. If you really want to play into the optically bad stereotype.
Mm-hmm. So there was a speech earlier today for some of the students talking, and they said that they will not move until divestment is achieved. Okay, they refuse to leave the encampment until divestment occurs.
Is there ways we can bet on that? Because I do think they are going to move before that happens. I think that's a safe bet. You want to bet me $500 that they move before divestment happens, Sitch?
I will bet you $100,000 that they will move before divestment occurs.
No, I want that. I want that position. I want I want that they move before divestment happens.
Okay, I will accept that $100,000 bet with you if you accept $1 million bet that they will move before the right of return is enacted. Okay.
Okay. I am not going to accept the $1 million bet, but I will accept. I see what you did there. That was
no. You have to accept both.
Right. It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
These poor kids.
There's also a chant right now at the Columbia protests that was oink oink piggy piggy. We're gonna make your life shitty. I mean, let's see. I gotta give him points for being funny at least.
It's just these. I guarantee you, the police are dying to go in there and crack some heads. Like they're making these people's day. What are you talking about?
They're like, finally, some action.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they're probably like, oh, these fucking kids. Like, they probably don't want to do this. They're just like annoyed by the whole thing.
They don't want to crack some heads.
No, I mean, it's hot outside. They're like, I don't want to go deal with these obnoxious, dumb, privileged children playing revolutionary in college campus.
Yeah, they're just messing around.
Oh. Okay, well, awesome. I guess we'll see tomorrow or tonight. You know what I think will happen? this would be my guess, either tomorrow or the day after, either late at night or very early in the morning, they're gonna have the police come in and try to remove everyone, like at like 6 a.m. or something. That seems to be like the move, right? You get them while they're all like
Right, exactly.
sleepy, you know. These kids
You're
sleep
you're
till noon
waiting.
anyway, right?
You're waiting for the media to leave. Like as
Yes.
soon as the last truck pulls out at 5:30 a.m.
All the cops just like jump out of the trash cans, descend from helicopters from every bush, you
Exactly.
know? Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
hmm
They go full Brazil. Everyone's tagged.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everyone gets a head bag.
hmm
They sweep these people out. Oh, look, perfect. Just in time for graduation.
That's-
Yeah.
That'd be my guess as to what will happen tomorrow morning.
Well, we'll see.
Probably. Yeah, so we'll see. That'll be fun.
I'm excited. Could be fun. We'll be streaming tomorrow. Or are we
Yes.
streaming tomorrow on? You want to talk about Fallout?
Sure, we can do that.
Fallout.
We can talk
All right.
about the fallout. The fallout from the protests, right?
Yeah. No, the Fallout TV show. Who cares?
Oh,
Look,
can I
I'm
both
getting.
these things?
Sitch, can I confide in you?
You're getting tired of the story?
I am a little bored.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like-
I mean, listen, hopefully this will be the end of it. So.
I mean, this is a pretty boring genocide.
Oh,
Not a lot's going.
you want this genocide to be more exciting? Is that what you're saying?
Not a lot's really happening. here.
Wow, look at this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's horrible. What a terrible person.
Look, I even rang the bell on the IDF's YouTube page, and it's not really happening a lot.
Awful.
Nothing's really going on.
Awful.
The Majority Report is making it sound exciting.
Mm-hmm.
They're just fucking liars. This is boring as fuck. These protesters, I mean, look, they're like eating hot dogs and roasting marshmallows and shit. This is
Mhm.
not even exciting.
There you go.
Yeah.
Future Boy for $5 says bat disease cleared out 900,000 GOP dummies. Good odds for Biden in 2024. Oh, you're saying COVID killed 900,000 Republican voters?
Oh, yeah, the old people.
You know, I'd actually be curious if they've done an analysis on how many people that died from COVID. Was it disproportionately Republicans? Yeah, like people who didn't want to get like vaccinated. I've never seen any statistics on that. So, but polls are not looking good for Biden right now, unless I don't know, unless the economy really stays good and this Israel thing goes away. I think Biden's going to have a lot of trouble in November. So,
I watch content obviously on the left and the right, and it seems like every time I watch some right-wing creator, it's just Trump is running away with it. Like he's so far up in the polls and
that's
Biden
not
doesn't
true.
have a chance.
It's pretty close, isn't it?
And then I watch some left-wing creator and it's just, Trump is losing in the polls. Biden is running away with it. It just seems impossible for Trump to catch up. And I just think, wow, these two movies are diverging quite substantially here.
Right.
So, and they both have arguments and they're both pointing to, they seem like real polls. So I don't know. I guess Sitch, I need you to do the deep dive. I need you to dive
I
in.
don't want to do the deep dive.
I know. Look, I don't either. I mean, I do want you to do the deep dive, but
Yeah, exactly. Now,
So-
so when I've looked at it, the polls are still pretty close. Trump is ahead a little bit.
yeah.
In
I
most
go
of
to
the polls,
538
yeah.
every once in a while. When I look at it, it's like neck and neck. So they must be
Yeah.
looking at outlier polls. They're so desperate to show something to their audience that obviously their guy is going to take it away, that they look at these outlier polls and who knows what they say, right? But you look at 538, which is like the aggregate of all the polls, and it's like neck and neck. It's within the margin of error.
Yeah, that's why I kept saying, it's really going to come down. I think the last couple months, it's really going to be the economy, the Israel situation, and also, I mean, it would depend if Republic. I mean, also we have to calculate for what's going to be going on with the Donald Trump trials. That could have a
Mhm.
huge impact one way or the other, either helping him or hurting him. And then also, it depends if the Republicans try to do some wacky abortion shit close to the election, which would be a huge mistake. So, still think it's
Yeah.
anyone's game. Anyways, Ostaf for $10 says, all of the talk of the Jewish people made me think of a joke. How does a Jew make beer? He brews it.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
A pun.
I like it.
Well, thank you for the super chat, and I guess we'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
See y'all tomorrow.